Casual Magic has been brought to you by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can get cool stuff. Use the code CASUAL for 5% off your order. We're also sponsored by Quiver Time, makers of the Quiver and Bolt deck cases and other fine card-holding accessories. Use the code CASUAL on their site for 10% off your purchase. And by Architect, a deck hosting website that doesn't sell anything, but they like me and I like them, so kindly use them for all your deck list needs. Now, on to the show. Hello and welcome to Casual Magic, a show where we talk about the fun side of Magic the Gathering. My name is Shivam, and Casual Magic is brought to you by Cool Stuff Inc., Architect, and Quiver. I pre-recorded this thing in the beginning so that I don't have to remember, and I forget every time. Today, I'm joined by my dear friend, fellow content creator, and one of my favorite broadcasters, Alias V. Hello, my friend.
What's up, Shivam? How you doing?
Great. I brought you on today. I mean, I've had you on the show before, and we talked about your background and everything, but I wanted to have you on today because the fact that for the past year or something, you and Olivia have been doing one of my favorite shows on the internet, EDH Hijinks, where you guys sit and just play Commander with my friends. And
Basically.
it turns out that it's fun to watch my friends be silly playing Commander. And I've been on the show a handful of times, and every time it's ridiculous and awesome. So I was just like, oh, you should come back and we should talk about that and other things. Because the last time you were here, you were building your first ever Commander deck.
I was,
And
yeah. I think we were talking about
you.
Yarok.
Yeah, and I was helping you do that. And I was like, wow, now you've been in Commander for solid Commander. So I'm just curious, what's your impression of the format now? And what do you think about Commander now that you've been deep in it and have to come up with new things all the time?
Oh, I love it. I mean, you just talk about the last time I was here. I think, it was long before Wyatt. It's my little boy, almost a year old already. Holy crap.
Yeah, seriously, right?
I was still doing a lot of arena content, and Commander wasn't really super on my radar until I discovered that, oh hey, I actually really like this, because it feels to me a lot like the first format I fell in love with, which is draft, because just being able to pick the cards you like and try and find synergies between different things and stack them together, and then go have fun. So me, I love it.
Yeah, for me, Commander's always felt more like playing a mega sealed deck.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, the way I like to build decks is just let's take all of my favorite synergies that go together within a block mechanic or whatever. It's here is a deck. But of course, the farther in you get, you're like, oh, okay, well, these 40 cards are all taken by staples or whatever. But I mean, that's the nature of any format once you get into it. But it's still though, it's I love using Commander as a way to discover links between cards that were really never meant to be played together, but just do bananas things when you're like, oh
yeah.
And that eye-widening moment is the best part.
We had a couple moments like that. I mean, I kind of did that the first time I discovered an infinite combo in my Quasar deck. Okay, because when I start building decks, I go to EDH Rec. I mean, I don't sit there and go through every card in Scryfall that has the word sacrifice on it, for example. I wish I had the time to do that, but I don't. So, yeah, when I realized, oh, hey, Quasar, she draws and then she dings you, and then there's the other card that dings you when you draw, and then you just keep this loop going, and then everyone dies. So I was just like, oops. Yeah. So I do like those moments though.
Yeah, it's although I will say that sometimes it's very easy to fall back into your old habits when you're building a new deck and you're like, gosh, what should I build? Oh, hey, here's an Aristocrats deck.
Yep. You've been looking at my Twitter lately, haven't you? I really want to build another Aristocrats deck.
It's funny though, because I say that every time. I'm like, I'm going to build a Commander deck that has no tokens in it and no counters in it, and it's going to be fine. And I end up with the tokens and counters deck. And
100 cards later.
How did I get to here? It's weird. Every deck I build, I'm like, look, here's my Mazzy deck. It's going to be about putting auras on your things. How does it win? By casting a whole ton of enchantments and getting a bunch of angels that hit you with. I'm like,
yeah.
Or it's like,
You
here's
like you gotta put a limit on yourself, right? Because I also recently built a mono green deck with all of the stupidly good green cards that I've just acquired over the years. You
yeah,
know, either cracked them in a pack or picked them up for a
mono
good
green
price and
mythics,
trailed them.
right?
Yeah, but I've played it a couple times now, and it's no fun. It's really no fun. I get so bored, and having a buttload of mana. I hope that's not a swear.
No, Pappy's been
with
on here. You're fine.
Okay, cool. With Nyx Bloom Ancient, and then just getting into this. Oh, it's so dull. My brain can't handle that much stuff. It's like my turn consists of a land drop, an attack phase. I cast a spell, and then I pass. I like that. That's me. I'm cool with that.
See, that's what my mono green deck does. It's just like big green beaters. Every turn I'm putting another one out on curve. I stay away from like the mana triplers or whatever. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
just I know how to ramp, and I'm gonna put out like Avenger of Zendikar, and I'm gonna hit you
Yep.
for a gabillion, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Um, or like, yeah, I'm building a new one actually because I've been like trying to do that same thing. Everybody's just like, you know what? I haven't played a mono green Stompy in forever, and I'm just gonna do that. Like
Yeah.
grab Goreclaw or
Yeah.
some like just big dumb beef head and just like fist face, and it's like
Yeah.
great, let's go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know because there's something like I was playing a game the other day with some friends of mine, and were playing Monarch in the middle, which is like where you start the game with Monarch in the center, and the first hit
Oh,
gets
that's
Monarch.
cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's just like because what it does, it incentivizes attacking. It
Yeah.
helps you encourage. And what I realized is we were playing the most fair game of Commander I've ever played in my life. Everybody was tapping out on their full turns. Everybody was attacking every turn because we all wanted to get the
Mm-hmm.
Monarch from the next guy.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of just beating each other and hammering each other back and forth.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
cool.
I miss this magic. I mean, like, I realize a lot of my listeners like to do things like pay attention on other people's turns and have like interaction and things like that. I'm like, yeah, there's value in that and it's important. But sometimes I just want to tap out and put out a 12-12.
Yeah,
Right? Like I just
precisely.
want to be like, hey, you know what? Rumble. Like
Yeah.
if you better learn to block with that, like, Drannith Magistrate, or you're gonna eat a ton of damage.
Or you just do like me and forget that there's a counter spell on MTG Nerd Girl's hand and try to cast Bane of
Jesus Christ.
Progress, I'm good at that.
Get wrecked. Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
did.
That's why I hate free spells.
Uh,
Like, when you can like, it's one thing if you daze me, okay, fine, you got me, but it's like, "Oh, yeah, my commander's on spell, so I can just counter this for free." I'm like, "Oh, that's meh." Um,
uh,
so what's it been like putting together hijinks? Like, I getting guests and stuff is always a challenge for
yeah,
obviously
it's like
you would know
herding
and I would know.
cats.
Yeah, right? And especially, like, it's hard enough for me finding one person, for you to find, like, 3 other people or 2 other or sometimes Olivia.
Yeah, sometimes Olivia forgets. So I have to
I
like
mean,
ping her as we're starting. Like, "Are you coming?" She's like, "Coming."
look, she's busy and she's got a lot of things going on.
Very, yeah,
But, can you explain to me, like, the genesis of the show? How did you guys
yeah.
decide to do this? Because like, getting Olivia to do anything, did you know that Casual Magic was originally gonna be me and Olivia sitting and talking together?
Oh yeah, I did
Yeah,
not know that.
this show was gonna be the 2 of us, and then she was like, "It would be better if you did it, and then I'll just show up once in a while." And I'm like, "Okay." And I say that with full love. The only reason the show exists is because Olivia and Tappy basically were like, "You should do your own show." And
Oh,
so I
that's
did.
cool.
But how did you get Olivia to do anything?
Well, before hijinks, I wanted to do commander content. I wanted to dabble in it, give it a shot. So I did. And I got a recurring cast of Olivia, Tappy, and Ellie.
Damn, that's
So,
a good ass cast right
yeah,
there.
it was really good. And we had a lot of fun games, but the way in which we shot it, it was far too convoluted and it took far too much time to actually get done. And, it was still a full-time job and trying to do streaming and then now that. So that kind of fizzled out a little bit, but I really enjoyed Olivia, her vibe and her presence and everything. And like,
Well,
I knew
yeah.
she was a pretty big deal. So, I took a shot and I said, "Hey, I want to try this again, but I want a host and I want it to be you. So are you keen/free?" And I still have the DM. I'm pretty sure I screenshot it and she's like, "I would love nothing more." So I was like, yes. So, that was first mission accomplished. And this was also around the time that we've discovered little Wyatt was on the way. So, I needed to shift gears in terms of how much time I spent making money because I was full time at
Oh, you
that
had, like, a
point.
real job?
So I just gone full time content creating, commentating, that sort of thing. So I
Mm,
needed to limit how much
reevaluate.
time I had to spend on Twitch because Twitch is a time suck.
Mhm.
And truth be told, it is nowhere near as beneficial as, getting content on YouTube and just finding an audience there and growing that because you could just have your stuff be there, people watch it. You don't have to be there. It's great. So I got all my time
You
back.
don't have to be there is the key
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you, EK.
yeah. And also, yeah, EK, it's been what, since the last Magic Con that we got him on board full time. Because the channel got to the point where it was like, okay, great, I can now hand off hijinks to EK, and bless his heart, he's given me so much time back. And pay him to do it. Yes, I'm paying him. I don't believe in paying an
I
exposure.
pay him
That's rubbish.
too. I mean, I
Yeah,
pay him every
pay
month.
your editors and your artists and whoever. They deserve it. And then that just gives me the time to focus on, Commander at Home because I'm editing that show and then wrangling
Wait,
guests.
you edited Commander at Home? You edit Commander at Home?
I do. Yeah.
That's so much work. That's
It's not
such
as
a
bad. It's
well, I
not
guess
as
it
it's not as much work as a weekly show. This is every 2 weeks, so at least I
mm,
get some breathing room in between, and then I can plan and focus. And
mm,
those games generally go a little quicker. But yeah,
yeah,
it's a multicam setup, and there's lots of footage and everything. But I
yeah.
still enjoy it. So
You keep your hand in the game, basically.
yeah.
So,
So,
like with, hijinks though, like, actually, that is kinda wild that you're, like, hosting one Commander show, but editing someone else's Commander show.
yeah. I
But I
mean,
guess
they
it's
asked
also
me. I
because,
was
like
like, I don't have the time because this is when I was still doing hijinks. So at
mm,
a stage, I was doing Commander Home and hijinks.
oh,
And
geez.
then I said to my husband, I'm like, I don't think I can do this much longer because, and then still having to be mom as well.
Yeah,
So it's just far too much. So I said to my husband, I'm like, please, can we pay someone lots of money each month so I can have some time back? And he said, yes,
fair.
let's do that. So we did that.
Yeah, your husband helps run hijinks as well because I
Yes.
know he does,
Yeah.
like, a lot of the producing while we're
Yeah.
playing,
He's
which
he's the
is,
he's the sultry voice in the background you sometimes hear.
well, it's really I've realized that it's really important to have somebody who's just there to be able to be like, "Can you put that in a better place, please?" Or,
Yeah.
it's like, "Go to this channel here." Um, I think one of the things that, like, as we content creators kind of mature more in our craft, we're gonna realize how much of the random things that Hollywood has that we actually just need. Like, it turns out you need to have things like producers or directors or,
Yeah.
folks to help point you where you need to go and control the ship while we're driving it.
Yeah.
Because if you have the talent doing it all the time, then we all get distracted and things get weird. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
it's just like, "Oh, crap. I meant to introduce you there." No, yeah, that's the thing I'm learning from Loading Ready Run, which is like, we need to we need to have somebody who doesn't get to play so that the rest of us can actually play and it'll
Yeah.
look better.
And that is one of the
Um,
reasons too that my husband got into the producer slash director chairs because I used to do all the pop-ups and the scene changes and everything while I was playing. So,
which is
my
ridiculous.
engagement, yeah, which so I do it all myself. So my engagement with other players wasn't incredibly high, so
Yeah.
he also said, hey, it'll be better if you're actually focusing on the gameplay and the guests, and then I do this. It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah,
So
because 'cause you're
yeah.
on camera, you have to actually be there hosting the show. If
Yeah.
you're trying to drag up a card that somebody brings up at the same time, you're not gonna be able to be like, "Oh, yeah, I have a counterspell in my hand," right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
um
I can use that as the reason I misplay, but not anymore because it hasn't been that way for a while.
Yeah, and, like, obviously, as with a newborn, it's even harder. It's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
look, I need to pause the game to feed my child."
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He's made a couple of appearances. He's a guest
yes.
star.
Two-headed giant mode, right? Um
Yeah.
Oh, man, but, Hijinks has grown significantly. It's been
Yeah.
huge, I there's a lot of Commander shows. There are a
Yeah.
lot of Commander gameplay shows. Why do you think yours has popped so much?
I think because we don't take ourselves too seriously. The channels that do take themselves seriously do it very, very well. And it's all very polished. It's all, by the book, all the rules are followed. we don't really care. It's not that we don't care. It's our
No, we
focus is
kinda hand wave a
having a
lot.
good time. Yeah, like we just want to play. We want to see the big dumb thing. We want to just enjoy the company of our friends. Like you said, sometimes
Mm.
half the fun of Commander is just watching a game play or
Oh,
watching a
yeah.
game play out and happen. So, I think that is a lot of the appeal, and I think the fact that we are able to do something pretty consistent. Every single week there's a new game. The format that we have, I think, is unique. I don't remember seeing anyone else doing something similar to how we do the show. And yeah, I just think it's easy to watch.
It is.
Consumption wise, it's fun. So
That's exactly it. There's no, like, stakes, there's no seriousness, it's just
yeah.
very chill, and, the thing that I think that attracted me to it, aside from the fact that it's my friends doing the show, is that it just feels like a real Commander game would.
Yeah,
Like, it feels like the Commander game that I would play at my table at
yeah.
home with my friends or whatever. Yeah, someone would be like, "Hey, you can't do that because of rules," and we'll look up the phone or whatever. But really, it's just, like, kinda hand wavy, loosey goosey, right? Like, it's like, we're generally in the right place. We all understand what's
Yeah,
happening. If it didn't specifically happen that way, whatever. The resolution
yeah.
was fine, and we all had a good time. Um,
Yeah.
Plus, on your show, I get to do dumb things. Like,
Yes.
remember the episode where I got to be with Joey and I think we calculated I did 65,000 damage at the end of the game
Yeah.
with my
Yeah, you've
stupid soldiers deck.
yeah, that was crazy. Oh my goodness. I think I
Yeah.
still remember your bubbles deck the most though. Your
Oh god, yeah.
silly
My
spells.
mirror yeah, where I got real lost in that deck, and I was just like, "How many triggers do I have? What am I do?" And the fact that Olivia
Oh
put out
boy.
that stupid alms collector or whatever, where I'm like,
Oh
"Okay, well,
yeah.
I guess do we deck ourselves now? What are we doing?"
Boy. Some crazy
Yeah, God,
games.
I love dude. After that game, though, I edited the hell out of that deck, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I need to have, like, some kind of mass removal. I need to have
Mhm.
some way to win."
Yeah. Just massive fireballs to the face off
Yeah,
your
just,
sword
like,
wall.
just give me something to just hit someone with. But that deck is now stupid. It is like does things like, "Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna flip into a copper dragon," and it's like, "Alright, I like that, let's go."
Yeah.
Um, I played it at a few Magic Cons after that because people were like, "I wanna see the Nira deck that you played against Olivia," and I'm like, "Alright." And they're like, "This is like getting" it's like it either does absolutely nothing or
Yeah.
hits you in the face with a truck, and you're like, it's so
It's
much
either a
fun.
beep beep or a honk honk.
Oh, dude, your show has become my testing ground for new decks that I'm
Nice.
building.
That's awesome.
Just
You see, that's what we wanted is like play the thing that makes your heart happy, because half of the time you don't get to try something different because you're worried about power level, you're worried about getting stomped. So yeah,
mm.
I think it's a good playground, I think,
Yeah, the
for
playground is the right word for it.
yeah.
It feels very just relaxed and silly with a bunch of people who know what they're doing so they can just let you do it.
Yeah.
Um, I think your show's got a lot of trust. Like, you expect that
Mhm.
your guests know what they're doing, and you're just like, "Let them do it. I
Yeah.
trust you know what you're doing with your deck, and if you don't, well, we'll figure it out."
What's the meme? Let them cook.
Yeah, exactly that. So, um, how do you like it's easy for me as a guest to just show up and say, "I have a new deck, let me on the show." But
Mm.
you have to do these every week. Do you, like, have do you keep a stable of decks that you're just like, "I'm just gonna pull from my standard," or do you try to come up with a new one every time?
Oh yeah, no. I would be very broke if I tried to do a new deck every time, or my printer would be out of ink, depending on the method used. But
Mhm.
I've got my
Your standards.
repertoire. Yeah, so I'll play something, but I'll try and rotate it every week. Or if my husband's built a new deck, I'll steal it from him or ask nicely. Always ask nicely. Don't borrow without permission. That's stealing. Yeah, and just whatever I'm wanting to try. The one thing that I used to do that I kind of want to do a little more of is mess around with precons or upgraded
Yes.
precons because that gets me out of my comfort zone. Because I do find as soon as I start getting into the comfort zone, it's like, oh, cool, then I'll do this, that's the next
"Oh,
thing.
look, I
Then
guess
I
I'm
get
gonna
bored.
sacrifice all my guys and get some value out of it."
Yeah, whoa, bonus Citadel, woo. Don't get me wrong, I love my Ayara deck, but that's the reason I haven't played it in a while, is because I would like to continue to love my Ayara deck.
Yeah, it is people don't understand that you can really get burnt out on decks. Like, my
Mm,
favorite deck of all time, my Tajik deck, I rarely play it anymore because 'cause I'm like, I have worked that boy to death and let him just rest for a bit, and I'll
yeah,
come back to it later, but it's like yeah, I think, like, that was the thing, I would really like to come back on your show and do, like,
nice.
I don't know, like Warhammer Precon Battle or like Lord of the Rings Precon Battle or something, just because
Yeah.
like I love playing with precons and I don't get as much chance to as I
Yeah,
do
precons
anymore.
are fun.
And I think that like like lightly upgrading some of these things because they're so good out of the box, just fix the mana base and
Mhm.
add some
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
crap. It's just like it's a good way to teach you how to play for like styles that you don't normally do.
Yeah, very
Um,
much so.
yeah, because like I don't play spell slinger decks, but if I play a precon that's a spell slinger precon, well, I guess I'm learning how to not tap out every turn. Um, that's a real challenge, by the way, not tapping out every turn. I don't know
Oh,
how
yeah.
people just do like you got cards in your hand you can play. What do
Instant
you mean?
speed? What's
Wait,
that?
what?
Sorcery speed all day.
No, no, It's like now I understand why Josh Lee Kwai used to always be like, you need to play that Vidalcan Ori all the time to give all your things flash. And I'm like, I could do that, but I still don't have the mana because I played it on my turn. He's like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
what if you didn't play it on your turn? I was like,
Uh-uh.
I, I. Oh man, oh
Oh,
man.
boy.
Um,
Hmm.
have you been on? You know, it's wild. I didn't realize you and Olivia had never met in person until like Philly.
Yeah, that is
Like
correct.
that is like I feel like there's you guys should have crossed paths at least once in the million events that you've all
I
done
thought we
together.
may have, but every event that I had commentated, she hadn't been cosplaying at or a guest at or something like that. I think it's only, pretty recently that they've made it
Every show thing.
every show thing for cosplayers to be there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was also like, are you sure we've never met in person? But yeah, when I met her and like just this tiny little pack of dynamite, I'm like, yeah, no, I would have remembered you.
The thing that's wild though is like when it's like somebody like you talk with every single day, and then you finally meet them in person, and you're like, "Oh, it just we talk every day. What is there to
Yeah.
say? Like, there's nothing you don't know about me already." Yeah,
Yeah.
it was wild. Like in Minneapolis, it was the first time I'd ever actually met Ellie of the Vale,
Oh,
um,
nice.
who is the now on like WotC staff or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
we've talked forever. We've like she's been on my show. We've been like we're on the CAG together. We talk all the time. She's like, "There's no way. This is literally the first time we're meeting." I'm like, think back, lady. Literally
Yeah.
not one event we've ever been to together because you lived on the wrong side of the country from me." And she's like,
Yeah.
"That's not possible."
I think the
And I'm like,
first time we met was in Victoria, right? Loading Ready
"Yes,
Run?
yeah,
Yeah.
for Baldur's Gate,"
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
it's that's a little less weird because the fact that
Yeah.
been to events that you've been commentating at, but you were commentating, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go and
So
bother
gone
you
really gone.
except in like randomly in Philadelphia where I'm just hanging out with you and Corey in the back room where I probably shouldn't have been.
Fine. You're a
It
guest.
was so much yeah, like I'm like, everybody knows me and I'm not gonna break anything, it's fine. Rich Hagon's not gonna throw me out. Uh, so,
Uh,
what is it how has it been going back to, in person to do things like the Magic Cons and Pro Tours and
yeah.
stuff?
Oh, it's been so great. Like we churned out so many online events, which
Mm,
are we managed. Let's just say that in terms of like, putting on a show for people and getting through all the technical issues. Like we could run a show in our sleep backwards now
mm,
that way. But I do not miss it at all. Sure, it's
no.
nice to be in the comfort of your own home, but at the same time, it's just so much better being in person and
You
getting to
lose
see
the
people.
chemistry,
Yeah, you do, and just being able to goof around and go for a meal with each other afterwards. It's
right?
it's such a big thing, like the building the team dynamics and whatever there with the team. It's just yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
nothing
let's
compares.
let's be honest, some of those, online events were definitely just like a Yorion mirror match for the next 16 hours.
Oh boy, yeah, some of them were hard.
The meta was not balanced during the pandemic, let's just say.
No.
Oh my god, companions, why? Why did you do that to us?
Yeah.
And why
Don't
are
get
we
me wrong.
stuck with
I
the
I really like Lurus, but
Yeah, but Lurus is broken. Lurus is one of the
no.
most broken cards ever
I
printed.
know. I love the kitty though. She's so good. Oh
Oh, man.
man.
Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man.
Fun times. Strange times, but fun. Yeah.
Seriously though, but like it's been so cool. Like I loved the setup you guys had in Minnesota, where they put the
Mm.
like commentating pavilion right in the middle of the room in front
Yeah,
of all
yeah,
the
the
free
the
play
free
area and
play
everything.
area, yeah. That
Yeah,
was
so that
pretty cool, yeah.
we could go and see you guys, and then it was weird though because your back was faced your back was turned to the actual games being played.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
whatever, it was
because
really cool.
yeah, the reason they do that, though, if anyone's wondering, like whatever's happening on stage behind us is not what's happening live.
Right.
Live. So what's live isn't what's on Twitch, because what
Oh, yeah.
we're seeing is the time delayed thing, because they're trying to limit as much of the downtime as possible. So they pre-record, and then we're about 10 minutes behind live. So one of the tricky things, though, was like getting close to the the big matches, the finals, the semifinals, whatever. We would hear people cheering in the background and have to be very careful not to look behind us to see who just won and who's walking off the stage, because we're still commentating a game that's got 10 minutes left. So it's like,
oh no. Ooh. Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe you
yeah.
should do that commentary not on the center.
Well, hey, it beats being in a sweaty ass broom closet that they had us in for
Oh
Philadelphia.
god, in Philadelphia, you guys were in this tiny little
Oh, it was awful.
it was like commentating in a bathroom. It's like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
Pretty much, yeah. Oh, it was so cramped, and the freaking stupid desk that they had us behind, we kept whacking our knees on because it was
Well,
just in
think
the
about
wrong
poor
corner.
Marshall. Poor Marshall
Yeah,
couldn't,
he's
like, I
so
was like,
tall.
yeah, it's like, dude, you stand up, you're hitting the ceiling. You're gonna need to cut a hole until you can even look out. Yeah,
Oh,
that did
boy.
not feel very like
Yeah.
Philadelphia. I feel like they made some mistakes by first off putting the Pro Tour in like Siberia compared to the rest of the con,
Yeah.
but they fixed it.
Yeah.
Minnesota was so much better,
Minnesota was great. Yeah. I
and
think they learned a lot. And
I'm excited to see what they do in Barca, but I'm not going to be
same.
there sadly because it's
And neither will I.
on
It's
the other
okay.
side of the planet.
We could be sad together and play some Commander while they're doing that. How's that?
Yeah. Oh, you're not going to be there?
No.
Oh
I
well.
don't know Modern. So yeah, no,
Oh,
I'm not on the
fair,
team for
fair.
that.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be modern. That would be fun. You know what? It's not like I would go to a MagicCon and actually go watch the Pro Tour anyways. Like,
Yeah.
I it
It
was
is a little
wild
odd,
though.
like that they have them together. I kind of get it, but I also don't get it
Yeah,
because they're not linked in any way. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
One of my favorite things though is like I remember I was talking to Frank Carson when I first met him in Minnesota. Oh no, in
Hmm.
Philadelphia, and I was like, "Did you get a chance to go to the MagicCon?" He's like, "Yeah, I went down and I looked at like the Command Zone live thing and everything." I'm like, "It's very different than up here, isn't it? Because up here it's all
Yeah.
quiet and everything." It's like,
Oh
"Yeah,
yeah.
there aren't a lot of people chanting my name and screaming at the Pro Tour."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, sir, there are."
This is very different magic crowds
Oh yeah,
between Commander and competitive play.
I think it's super neat though that they finally kind of like brought them together so that you can just like I don't know, we can finally try to integrate a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's a decentish attempt to integrate the two fandoms. I guess I don't know if you can call it that either.
just like
It's just like
factions.
some people just don't care about Commander, and like for the most part, the casual players couldn't care about competitive
Oh yeah.
play. So if they made some like high stakes CEDH tournaments and broadcast
Just
that might be a happy middle ground. I don't know.
don't curse me like that.
Whoa, people
I
would
don't
play
know.
it.
Oh god. Oh god, my head just started hurting immediately. Um, but it was wild though, because like I would go to the Pro Tour area and I'd be like fanboying over like meeting like
And
all
Reed
my
Duke.
favorite pros and like, oh my god, look at Reed Duke or whatever. I'm like, holy crap, I've been watching you for years and years. And then like turn around,
Yeah.
take 3 steps, and it's like, holy crap, it's Shivam. And I'm like, this is a whiplash. Like this is super bizarre. Um, and I guess the one thing that does make me a little sad is that you guys don't get to really go out and enjoy the con.
Mm-mm. No,
Because
we
like,
we we try to sneak out when we can in between rounds, or if we know that there's going to be a long downtime. For example, when they're doing the day one drafts,
yeah, you're
that's
like
a long period, and then Marshall and Paul are in the booth for like 2 hours.
hours.
So
Yeah.
we can go and skedaddle and sneak through and have a quick look. But yeah, it would be awesome to attend a MagicCon just as a guest or as a player.
Yeah, just attendee.
Yeah, the one thing that was really nice was the recent Command Fest in Florida that I attended, in Orlando.
Mm,
I'd never get to just talk to people and just
right?
hang out and not have to be somewhere immediately in 2 minutes time. That was so great. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that just any of the imposter syndrome I had, or any of the do people actually enjoy the show, just went out the window,
Isn't it
because
so
people are
cool?
just so lovely, and I just like recharged my batteries. So yeah, very grateful to Cool Stuff for
Yeah, like
flying me out for that.
I learned this like when I went to because I've been to a handful of Command Fest now, and what I realized is like I go to a MagicCon and I'm always on stage. I'm always busy. I've got to sign things for people. I've got to
Yeah,
take pictures, whatever. And then I can go to a Command Fest and I can actually just sit down and play some games with people.
yeah,
Just
it's
randomly
great.
sit down with whoever's there and just be like, let's just jam some Commander and just sit and
Yeah.
chat and whatever. And it's like super stress free.
Yeah.
It's like just like being
So
old
chill.
timey, just fan again. Like nobody
Yeah.
cares, and I can just jam a game and move on with my life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's weird. Like we're in a weird position now where it's like people recognize us and they're like, "Oh my god, I see you." You know how many people came up to me in like Minnesota, for instance, were like, "I loved your deck on Hijinks," and I'm like, "That's rad."
Jim said that too. He's like, "Oh, I really enjoyed your deck on hijinks." He's like, "Oh, hey, I have a whole channel of my own, right?" Sorry,
And I'm
Jim.
like, You know what, man? You find your fan wherever we can bring our fans from. That's fine too."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
So
It's
funny.
weird. Like Hijinks is so big now. It's like so big.
It's not like big, but it's getting there. It's growing nicely.
Okay,
So
like
I'm
I
proud of
have
it.
like 3,000 people on my YouTube. You have more than that.
Almost. We working our way up to the nice number of 69,000. So we're getting there. So if you're
That's
not
a
subscribed, go help me. I want to get to the nice number.
And then once I hit there, unsubscribe so they can stay there.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Um,
take one for the team.
oh
Uh,
yeah, jeez. So editing Commander at home though must be weird then, right? Like, well, 'cause I guess it's not weird. You know how to like you've been a trained editor for a long time,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So before finding magic and completely flipping my career trajectory around, the last thing I did was a visual effects editor, which isn't as fun as being like an editor and getting to actually craft the story.
Mm,
But yeah, I am a qualified film editor, television stuff. I've worked on Oscar-winning movies. Casual brag. Shape of Water has my name in the credits. If you go
that's
and
pretty
watch the
hot.
credits, you'll see me. Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty
pretty
hot.
sweet. Pretty cool. I
Yeah,
got to
but I
do some
mean,
cool
look,
stuff.
it's less about that and more about the fact that that means you have the chops, which means you know how to tell a story and craft a
Yeah.
story with editing. And I think that's one of the things that I think a lot of people who put these content stuff
Mm,
together don't really understand that sometimes you do need to actually sit and work on your craft and
yeah.
actually learn the art of putting these things together. Because
Yeah.
I one thing I wish people understood, and I've hammered this on my show a lot, is that there's a big difference between making content for people to watch versus just playing Commander. Like
Yeah.
you got to be entertaining. Oh, do you
Yep.
need to pause for the kid?
Mm? Oh, no, no.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, he's like you got to. Being entertaining is fine, but you need to also understand you sometimes entertaining has to take precedence over winning or
Yeah.
the rules or just
Yeah.
like one of the things that always gets me is I go back to the first episode that Josh and Jimmy had Post Malone on, and that was
Yeah.
before we know he was going to show up at the drop of a hat to anybody's anything. Was the fact that everybody's like, why did Jimmy just not kill him early on when he had the chance? And I'm like, Post Malone is going to bring a million eyes to this
Yeah.
and a billion people who don't watch this show. And you think beating him in the first 10 minutes is going to be at all beneficial to the program or the
Nope.
channel or your metrics? No, are you kidding
Yeah.
me? It's there's an art to this of you want the headliner not necessarily to win, but you want him to
Yeah.
at least you don't
Put up a good
like
fight. Yeah.
yeah, you want to make a good show. You want to
Yeah.
make
Don't
it so
just
that people
dunk
are
on him.
entertained. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes, especially for content, sometimes the correct play is not the right play.
100%.
There's a difference.
Yeah, it's
That's that's why we always say to our guests, it's like mulligan until you have a hand that does something. Don't stack your hand with the
yeah,
absolute nuts on turn one, but
yeah.
find something that works,
Give you
and we'll
something to
put on a
play.
good show. Yeah.
Right, we didn't come here to watch you discard
Yeah.
cards, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, there was I was watching, or I was participating in a game show once, or in a, content stream that was edited and going up later, and he's like, "Look, if you find yourself without lands, 2 or 3 turns in, we're going to pause the recording.
Yeah.
You're gonna find a land and put it on top and shuffle your deck, and we're just gonna move on because
Yeah.
I did not fly you out here or whatever so that we are not playing a game,
Yeah.
right? The
It's a
whole
good rule.
point. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
look, if you're not live, if you're edited, then
Yeah.
don't cheat, but also play the game so that people and enjoy themselves because like
Yeah.
it's even when you're watching like a tournament match and it's just one-sided, lopsided, getting hammered. That's not fun.
It's not fun at all, you know.
Yeah,
You
like
don't want to see someone just, curve out perfectly. This goes for any Magic content and absolutely obliterate the opponent. You want some back and forth. You want
yeah,
to be engaged and question what's going to happen, who's going to win. So,
yeah,
yeah,
like
it's all about just to say like, the thing with content creation is one thing that my lecturer told me that I still remember from back in the day is you need to do one of three things. You just make them laugh, you need to make them cry, or you need to make them wait. And if you're not doing any of those three things, what are you doing?
exactly. Like they need to be there needs to be anticipation, or they need to be
Yeah,
like, oh god, where's this going? But like
yeah.
if for instance, if that game against if with my Nira deck, if I'm sitting there and I just milled out me and Olivia in like the first 20 minutes or 10 minutes of the game, what that yeah, that's cute, but that's not really entertaining. That's now we're done. That's
Yeah, it's like,
stupid.
okay, now what? Game two?
Great. All right, good luck. Have fun. Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
bad TV. Whereas if I'm like struggling my way through figuring this deck out, it's far funnier and
Yeah.
far more fun. Um, so are you building any new decks? Have you thought about anything from like say Lord of the Rings or the last 38 sets that have come out?
Oh, I kind of want to make a Tom Bombadil deck. That was one thing I was threatening. But then I
Mega
remembered that
sagas.
there's so many triggers on sagas.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that would be super good for my brain.
Oh
But
god.
I did want to upgrade the Sadar Jabari precon. I
Mm,
love knights and I've loved the Dominaria knights, just like the simple little guys that get
like White
protection from
Knight, Black
black or
Knight.
protection.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just simple little idiots that do dumb things.
yeah,
What else did I want to build? I haven't really looked too much at Lord of the Rings stuff. The set's really fun. I enjoy drafting it.
yeah. It's really fun to draft. Actually,
I
I'm
haven't
enjoying.
looked at like the okay, I know a bunch of about the
There's like
precons now because I've
well,
edited
that's
some
because there's
stuff on it, but yeah.
700 legends in that set.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And they're all stupid. They're all stupid.
They're all pretty stupid.
I don't know. I think you should look into the green black Smeagol or whatever it is. The one who like
Yeah? Oh, yeah, he's
forces
cool.
yeah, like I hate playing
Forces
that
you to
against that.
mill?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you take their land and
You
you
steal
play
their
it.
land? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
I like him. He's
yeah,
cool.
he's gross. Like I hate him in draft, but that looks hella fun
Yeah,
in
it
Commander.
does. I did actually he was one of the ones I was like, "Oh, hey, you look fun."
Yeah, that,
Uh,
that feels like something that's up your alley. It's like
yeah.
a little BS is what that is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
Strangely though, I kind of find the Mardu colors, like the humans, they're pretty
mm,
boring. They feel super It's like, oh, there's nothing new.
yeah. They kind of stack and they just do the thing and you're like, whatever, okay, great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've been looking at March of the Machines 2. What the hell was it called? Aftermath.
Aftermath, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I've been looking at the Aftermath decks and I'm like, okay, this basically feels like we made a bunch of one-off legends that you
Mm.
guys can then use. So I've been like, there was a Goro Goro and something, the dragon
Ryusei, I
ninja.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh I don't remember Goro Goro and
I think that's
Satoru.
Ryusei.
Satoru. Goro
Sorry.
Goro.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like,
Right.
that looks hella fun to just like ninja things in and then make a bunch of dragons. And I'm like, I've never built a Grixis deck before. That looks like a
Yeah.
fun Grixis deck to build. Um, and I don't know, it was like, okay, cool. So you guys basically made a supplement that's entirely just commanders that you have
Mm.
ideas for that don't fit anywhere else. That's cute and also very expensive, but cute. Like
Yeah.
like
Oh man.
Catilda and Lear, which is like whenever you cast a human, target instant or sorcery gains flashback. I'm like, what?
It's,
That's a weird. I don't.
it's just too much. Like
It's
the team ups were cool, but also like why?
why?
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're cute. Some of them are fun. Like Slimefoot was a really cool one, but
Yeah, and
some of them are just like I
sweet.
don't.
Yeah.
Nobody is good looking for Saint Traft and what's his face, the dude from
Rem
yeah
Carolus or
Rem
something.
Corollas. Yeah, who knows? Good for you for remembering that because like I just know
Yeah.
that Saint Traft is on a card and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's
It was
weird.
strange.
That I don't know. I think like what do you think? Here's a softball. Are there too
Huh?
many legends going on right now?
Yeah. But there's been too many legends for a very
There's
long
been
time.
too many legends for a long time.
Look, I like
Um,
having options, and I think my next challenge is to not play the most played commanders on EDH Rec for a while. So I'm gonna go find the obscure ones that are like, oh hey, that's kind of cute in a very strange backwards way. Let's make it work.
go back to like a set that I had. It's weird. So me and Wheeler do a show where we sit and go over like random sets and
Yeah.
just talk about every card in the set or whatever. And we've been going through, and sometimes you get to an older set, and like the first segment of our shows, we go over all the legends in a set,
Hmm.
which is weird because in some of these older sets, like there were 3 legends in this set. I'm like,
Yeah.
3? Like that's it. And now it's
Yeah.
like I fear that when we get to like doing one of the more modern sets, like there's 75 legends in this set.
Mm,
And we're gonna
that's
just
so
spend
many.
it's too many. But
Mm,
at the same time, though, that means that when we go to a command fest or sit down or whatever, someone comes out and pulls out a deck, and you've got a very good chance of literally having no idea who the legend is or what
yeah.
the deck does, and it's
Yeah.
novel again.
Or
So,
Ezzy from Quintessential Commander is going to come up to you and be like, "Name this legend," and you're going to go,
oh
"Ah."
my god, dude, when he got me in Minnesota, uh,
Oh, that's too funny.
he picked one, and it was just the problem was he picked one from the stupid Walking Dead secret lair, and I'm like, I don't remember the
Oh,
Walking Dead
oh
guys.
yeah, you got Carl, I think,
Yeah, I'm like,
the archer
I know
bro.
what the
No,
card
not Carl.
does. I don't know.
Daryl.
No, the Daryl. I'm like, I don't want The
Yeah.
Walking Dead, and I didn't. And that set led to direct harassment of me. So I try not to pay any
Oh,
attention to
fun.
it. Oh, dude, Sheldon got. It was so funny because it was like early in the or it was like right in pandemic, right around election when
Yeah.
they announced that, and we had the commander, the whole like people are trying to make their own separate format that ended up being full of Nazis, and who the heck was that? The commander budget guy or whatever is like leading a revolt, and I was
Oh
getting into
boy.
fights with people, and Sheldon's like, "I'm gonna fire you from the CAG if you don't stop like lighting these people on fire." I'm like, Sheldon, here are the things people are saying to me. Let's like understand where I'm coming from. And that's when I also just stopped engaging with that. I'm like, you know what? If people like Walking Dead, rad, enjoy. GG's,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
You should do a hijinks episode where everybody plays a Street Fighter commander.
You're into that one, yeah? See, but Shivam, I don't like Street Fighter, so you have you
What?
have
No.
to you have to convince me. What will I like about Street Fighter?
Well, there's streets and you fight on them.
Oh my goodness. On the topic of Street Fighter, I have some Street Fighter playmats. Do you want them?
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
do.
If you don't
Why?
have them, I can
I
send
don't
them
have
to
any
you.
of them.
You
Oh
don't?
my god, yes, I do. I
Sweet.
don't have any of those. Why do you have Street
Okay.
Fighter? Oh, did Ultra Pro just send you a brick or something?
Yeah, I form an old sponsorship with
Oh,
them. They just sent me a
that's
bunch. So
so
if you
cool.
want them, I'll send them to you.
Yes, if you don't want them, I do.
I
Because
do not want them. They are taking up space and I need them gone.
Street Fighter is my jam.
There you go.
Wow, gosh, I
All
love
right.
it.
I'll get your address after this. I'll send it to you.
Look, I won a contest that I didn't even apply to.
Hey!
The worst thing about being a content creator is that I can't enter all my friends' contests anymore because now it's
Yeah.
cheating. Because
Yeah.
like it
Oh,
was
it's rigged. Me,
early
me, me, me,
on,
me.
like Josh LeQuai was like, "Hey, Shivam, I know you like to apply to all these things, but you can't do it anymore because we're friends now, and that would be bad." And I'm like, "Oh, damn. Okay, well, I guess. Oh, okay."
So then you just start beef with him and then you can re-enter, right? Is that how that works? Oh.
Yes, that's exactly how it works. Oh boy, oh boy,
Uh,
oh boy. Um, so God, I don't know.
well,
It's just
I can go off on a tangent here quickly.
hit me.
I
Yeah,
just
I
want to
like
say it. Josh
spot
Lee
it.
Kwai is an absolute freaking saint.
Mm,
I have had many conversations with him, email, over the phone, about setting up the channel and hijinks and bouncing ideas off of him, and he has just been so super helpful and sharing his knowledge and wisdom about how to do stuff right. And yeah, hijinks
yeah,
wouldn't be here without him, I don't think so.
he,
Thanks.
yeah. Josh and Prof are both incredibly
Yeah,
knowledgeable and incredibly like full of information that's like hard to get without experience.
yeah, yeah,
And plus, he
definitely.
knows how to like. There's nobody who knows how to put on a better commander show than Josh LeQuai does. Like
Nope.
people like dog. They're like, oh yeah, command like game nights is rigged. I'm like, no, it's really not.
Nope.
But like they're like, yeah, but you have to rehearse. I'm like, you need to know where to stand and where to look. That's
Yeah.
not cheating. That's just like
Yeah.
I'm putting on a show, right? Like the dude is trying to put on an actual show. And the fact that the live shows of game
I
nights at
love
every one of
those.
these things are just so they're packed, they're full. The arena is like a standing room only. It's amazing.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool.
I
It's
can't
like,
wait to see what they do in Barcelona with like
oh god, I'm
Lord of the Rings stuff.
oh yeah,
I
that's gonna be wild. Oh god, I forgot that Barcelona is gonna be all Lord. Is it gonna be Lord of the Rings limited? Is that what the deal is?
think so, yeah.
Then I don't know. Whatever it is, this
I'm
show
not
is coming
sure.
out after Barcelona, anyways. I think I'm pretty sure. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to Barcelona, so I'm not thinking about it because I would feel sad.
Yes.
Um, what are you going to build next? Do you know?
Hmm. Haven't thought that far. I have literally just gone through my entire collection of cards. There's like a stack of cards I don't have a use for in a diaper box. Don't judge me. That I'm gonna
We
take
use
to
what
my
we got.
local game store and be like, here, have some
Happy birthday.
cards. And see if they want anything out of there. Because there's some good stuff in there. But like I have too many of the same thing, so I've now have this nicely packed little thingy where I just have cards that could go in a commander deck. I'm very proud of
Mhm.
myself about that. I don't know
Well,
beyond that though.
I mean, you saw my Minsc and Boo deck. That was
Hmm.
literally just built out of cards that had been sitting on my desk for
Yeah,
like years, and I was like,
nice. That was a cool deck.
fine, I'm just gonna throw them together, and yeah, it turns out that deck is very powerful. It turns
Yeah.
out that deck is far more powerful than I anticipated it being, and it's funny. It's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna hit you for 600 damage." Um,
Casually. Fine.
yeah, it's wild. Like, I had Boo, and I'm like, "Boo's a 30/30. I'm gonna hit you with Boo, and then I'm gonna throw Boo at the other player. Oh, I win.
I
Oh,
love that. Maybe I'll make a fling deck next because I really do
oh,
like
Fling is
throwing
fun."
things.
Dude,
I like
uh,
throwing things.
Prof has a deck which is Brian's Stout
Brian?
Arm.
Yeah,
And that's just
he
it's
plays
hella
that on
fun.
hijinks.
It turns out that's just throwing things at people is very, very fun to do. And it's like aristocrats, just instead of
Just
throwing to
yeah,
the yard, it's throwing to the face.
yeah. Which
It's
is my other favorite thing to do. So go
well, then maybe
face.
you build a Mardu Fling Aristocrats deck.
Flingstocrats. We'll have to just workshop
Flingstocrats.
the title a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aristofling? Uh,
Aristofling. That's got a good ring to it.
Catapult the
Aw.
king. Fadoo.
Hey, Kenrith. Woo! Ooh, I did crack a Kenrith.
Ooh.
Maybe I could do
Kenrith.
5-color nonsense.
The thing about five color nonsense is that you'll do it once and it'll be like, that's neat. And then you'll be like, eh, eh.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I
because
need to
like
find something that just has a different play style each time I play it. So, yeah. If anyone's got recommendations for me, let me know.
one of the things that I learned from David McDarby is that he has a Demir deck and he
Hmm.
pulls out like 17 legends and he's got them all flipped out and you pick one at the beginning of the game and that's the new commander for the deck.
Yeah,
And it
I
changes
heard
the
this
tone of the
idea.
deck. It's
It's
hella
very
fun.
cool.
It's hard to build, but the thing is like the commander
Mm.
determines the tone of the deck. And sometimes it suddenly makes your cards do weird different things.
Oh,
It's
actually,
really neat.
I think I'm going to do that because I did separate out all my multicolored friends, which
Mm.
are both mostly legends. So, yeah, maybe I'll do
The other
that.
suggestion I have, if you want to have something that does different every
Hmm.
time, take the original 15 partners that were from M14 or whatever the hell, it's Commander 14 something. If you take those and you build like half a deck that goes with them, and then at the
Hmm.
beginning you just roll 2 dice and grab the 2 components and put them together, suddenly you have a partner pair that does some weird nonsense and you have no idea and it's different every time.
That sounds like a great
I
idea. I think
made
I'm
it
going to do that.
I called it my Commander Chaos Draft basically because it's just like
Yeah.
super wild, and it was a little, nasty to maintain for a first, but it was also just
Hmm.
so cool because it's modular and weird, and it interacts in ways you do not expect, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's really fun." Um,
Yeah, I might do that.
cool.
Just kind of like a shake it and see what pops out.
Exactly, exactly. It's like a Magic 8 Ball of decks. You're like, "I don't know," or reach into the hat and pull out, like, a commander, and
Yeah,
here we go. Um,
that's cool.
yeah, it's wild. It's a Commander's a weird game, and you could do some weird things with that.
Love
Um,
it.
but okay, so I think that's a good natural place for us to kind of bring this ship to a close.
Hmm.
If folks wanted to find you or your content, where could they go?
Anywhere you can type ED hijinks, basically. That's pretty much where I direct people nowadays. Because yes, I am Alias V, but I don't really stream anymore, so it's kind of just my nickname at this point. But yeah, AliasV EDH on Twitter if you want to find me there. Otherwise, yeah, YouTube is the main place to go and check out some hijinks. A lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. If you don't, then go find. Yeah, let's get you back on. Yeah. And go find some other thing to watch because there's a lot of it out there. Go support our other friends.
Yeah, that's the one thing. People are always like, "Oh man, you guys must have the huge rivalry." I'm like, "No, we absolutely don't because we are all in the same boat."
Yeah, and you would like the boat to not sink.
Yeah, right. Like we're all here to support each other. The more of us there are, the better it is for everybody, I guess. But like, it's a good time. Anyways, as always, you can find me at Gear Report Gears. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are sold, or at Cool Stuff Inc. on Tuesdays, or at YouTube on Tuesdays. Thank you to my editor, EK. And remember, my friends, it is not... wait. I should also suggest you listen to Shivam and Wheeler Love Magic, which is where me and Wheeler sit on the 1st and the 15th of every month and break down a full set and talk about it through the lens of Commander, or my third podcast, Chronicles of Dragonlance, where I sit and talk about the thing that nobody Magic players care about, but I care a lot about, which is Dragonlance. We're very close to the end of the first book, which is a whole year's worth of content. Anyways, my friends, it's not Magic without the gathering, and we will see you next time.